Hey everybody, welcome back to another review of Married at First Sight. This is season 14, gonna be episode 7. As always, it's your boy Big James, the big eyed himself. And this episode it was it don't like any of these couples gonna make it, really. This was a bad this was an episode that showed that the matchmaking isn't really that good, or that people aren't in relationships and are not married at this point, probably for very specific reasons. And you start seeing reasons why people aren't married. All right, we're going to start out with the couple with the least to say about, which is Chris and Alyssa. It's the least to say about it and the most. We're going to start with Chris and Alyssa. It starts out with them coming back, Chris moving into the apartment, and Alyssa not moving into the apartment. Good on Chris. Alyssa doesn't know what went wrong. She doesn't know what happened. And Chris is like, I'm here. She ain't here. Good on you, Chris. Uh, it shows, no, Alyssa goes and meets up with her mother. And her mother, like, she really liked Chris. And Alyssa starts lying to her, telling her Chris did all this stuff to her. He said this, he did that. She really was just lying through her fucking teeth about Chris. And her mom was like, I really liked him. I met him. He seems sweet, intelligent. And she had, like, nothing but good stuff to say. Alyssa was like, well, you haven't spent time with him like I did. You haven't spent no fucking time with him. You ain't been around with him. You don't know anything about him. And then they show Chris with his friend, and he's telling his friend all the stuff that's going on with Alyssa, what she said and done. And his friend looking at Chris like he's a damn fool for even still trying to make it go. He said, if this was a girl you were dating and not married to, like I would have been told you to leave. I'd have been like, what's wrong with you? You should have been left. Even if it's someone he's married to, you'd be like, why would you even do this? Like if this wasn't his wife, he would have already been out. Alyssa said, they have political differences where, someone told her of a picture he posted about defund the police. And she's like, well, you know how I feel about first responders, and I can't deal with that. I can't have that. And the whole time, Chris's friend that he's there with is a police officer. And Chris said she never even asked me about what I thought about that. She just made an assumption, which it seems like with his whole personality, all Let's do was make assumptions. Well, I'm guessing this is what he like, and I'm guessing this is what he is. And Chris was like, I don't even have her phone number. So I can't communicate with her. I can't get in touch with her. There's no way for him to even contact her or talk. They've never had a conversation. And so anything she says about him is just her guessing, or she got through a third party that got it through another third party. So he was like, she doesn't know anything about him and doesn't want to know anything about him. But she's talking to her mom and others that she knows so much about him, and she doesn't know anything about him. It was just complete bullshit. Pastor Cal comes, and he basically is like, okay, what is it? Because it seems like you're not, he tells Alyssa, it seems like you're not attracted to him. And she was like, he's not my type. She still doesn't want to say that. She keeps dancing around that she's not attracted to him and she doesn't know him and doesn't want to get to know him. And it's just irritating. It's irritating to watch, it's irritating to listen to. And then she's talking about we can't move in because of his dog. The whole dog thing was such bullshit. She's like, well, even though I've had a dog for 10 years, I'm used to that dog. I'm not used to his dog. His dog was a husky. And he was like, it's a short hair husky. She like, my dog has short hair. He was like, I have a short hair husky. And she runs a damn animal rescue. She's around dogs all day long. And the eye roll of Pastor Cal and of Chris to her I'm allergic to dog thing was such bullshit. Like, that's your job to be around dogs. Her social media pages are just loaded up with her and dogs. So she's not allergic to dogs. That was just a lie she said to Chris, and no one believed it because they know what you do for a living. It's not even a good lie. And she's still like, well, I'm trying really hard. And no, she's trying to try, is what she's basically trying to do. And Pastor Cal asked Chris, like, what do you want? And Chris said this is his decision today. And he wants a fucking divorce. He doesn't want to waste any more time with this because she doesn't want him, and she's fake crying. All this, oh my god, it gets on my nerves because she doesn't. She never liked him. She didn't want to like him. She didn't even want to get to know him. But now because he's telling her, he's just giving her an out because she didn't want to admit it, so he just did it for her. So they're done. Her fake tears, her oh I'm so sad. She's sad that she can't go hang out with the girls. Basically, what she's sad about. And then it's over with. And I'm like, thank God it's over with for them two. I don't want to talk about them two any fucking more. I really don't. The next couple I'm going to talk about is Steve and Noi. Steve and Noi, they come back. Now, they're moving into the shared apartment together. And they're going to each other's place. Do they go to Noi's place? I don't know. They went to Steve's. Steve had a bachelor pad. A lot of the guys had just clear bachelor pads. Steve's was. It's minimally decorated. It seemed like all he had was like a mattress on the floor, a couch, and some LED lights that he sat there and played with. I guess he thought he was going to impress her. No, it didn't impress anybody. You're a grown ass man playing with lights. He should have felt stupid with that shit. He said he wants to bring the lights to the new apartment, and Noah was like, "No, shit, no, we're not bringing a bunch of fucking light screens to the house." He was like, he got the lights in every room. It was the most ridiculous shit I ever saw that he was so proud of. And they were talking to Pastor Cal. I don't remember Noah's house. I don't even know if they showed it. I really can't remember. Pastor Cal comes, talks to Pastor Cal talks to all couples. He talks to Stephen Noy, and he's basically telling Steve, you need to get a fucking job. Because Noy, like, she grew up in poverty, she grew up in a refugee camp, and, she likes to feel secure. She likes to feel taken care of, that everything's going to be okay. She doesn't want to go back to that, where you're just so impoverished. And Steve is kind of a carefree, like a vagabond attitude about work and being stationary. He doesn't like to settle down in one place, which, you want to get married. So I don't understand where he's coming from with that. He doesn't want to get a 9 to 5. He says he doesn't want a 9 to 5 because, he works, he just doesn't have a job. He does a lot of freelance contract work. He makes his money, but he's not tied anywhere. He can still move around. He does web design, web development, sales, and he does a lot of stuff. Whatever he can to make money. What he's naming out is all stuff that pays very well. And it would be a contract. It would be a short-term deal. But it will pay you a lot of money from the stuff he's saying. Like web design, video game making, all that stuff. That's not a job. That's just something you come in and you do, and then you're done. So, and it pays a lot. But I don't think Noy or Pastor Cal really got what he was saying. But they kind of like, you need to get a job, like you can't be like his husband. How you gonna be the provider and all that stuff? And he's like, I can provide, I can do anything, but I don't need a 9 to 5. I'm making more money doing this. It's not as secure. It's probably not any benefits or insurance or anything, but it's a lot of money. And for Noah, she wanted 3 kids. She said, my parents had 3 kids. My sister had 3 kids. I'm going to have 3 kids. And Steve was like, well, let's try 1 kid first and see how that goes. Noah was like, no, it's got to be 3. And Pastor Cal was like, that's kind of unrealistic because you don't know if you can have 3 kids. Because you're kind of late because she's older. And she might have 1, and that 1 kid could be special needs. And it requires the attention that you would give to 3 kids. And, you don't know if you could have 1 yet. But you're saying you want to have 3. She's just like, I'm going to have 3. And they're trying to bring her down to the possibility that you might not have 3. But she doesn't want to accept that. She's being very stubborn about it. She said she never thought about not having 3 kids. It's always been, I'm going to have 3 kids. And I think Noy is just being real silly with that. And I think have one first and then see if that's cool. Have one first. Do them one at a time. Don't just sit here and plan out it's going to be three. You might have one, you might have five. But that seemed like the whole him working and her and the kids thing, they were really bumping heads on that. Because Steve is like, I'm not with this three kids thing. And Noah was like, I'm not with this you ain't got no job thing. But a job doesn't mean security. And Steve says, like, I want to, I can't work a 9 to 5, I can't be creative, be the free spirit I want to be. I can't be myself. So he's not going to do that. He's not at a point in his life where he wants to do that. And I'm like, that sounds stupid. But, all right. It really just comes down to, because you can have a job and be unsecure. You can go to somewhere every day working 9 to 5, punching the clock, have all these benefits and everything, but it's not secure. He feels secure doing contract work, freelance. Because no, it's not steady, but it's a lot of money in a short amount of time. And you can save it. I'm pretty sure he could save a lot with it just being him. Now that he's married, it's up in the air. But she works too, or does she not? I don't know. Does she not want to work? That could be why she's pushing so hard. And Pastor Cal, I think he was wrong with that. Because he doesn't know the situation yet. Nobody, Steve is being very hush hush about his financial situation. He's not talking about his money or how much he makes at all. And I think that's making Noy uneasy and questionable because he's either not talking about it because he has none or he has a lot. He doesn't seem very money driven. No, everything he has that he owns and that he stuff is all looks very expensive. It's very nice, but he all seems like he doesn't really care that much about money, which doesn't mean he doesn't have any. For the next couple, we're gonna go to Michael and Jasmina. Michael is full of shit. Uh, they're not gonna make it. I don't think they got a shot in hell. I thought they might have, but no. Because both of them are liars, and they're both lying to each other. Jasmina goes to Michael's place, and she asked him, at the way they show it, she asked him, what does he have? She said, I have a male roommate. That's him right now. We live together. Is that okay? And Michael's like, that's fine. She's like, do you have a female roommate? He said, no. They get to Michael's apartment. He has 2 female roommates. Now, the thing is, though, he never tells her this. And she doesn't know until the roommate comes out of the room. So he's been there the whole time. He's been showing her around the apartment, showing her everything. And she keeps asking about the roommates. And Michael says nothing. Nothing. So she is completely in the dark that he has a female roommate until the female roommate comes out of her room. And then, guess what? The other roommate is also a woman. So you have 2 women roommates, and you told me on our wedding day that you did not have female roommates. You told me you had 2. It was you and some guys. And then they show in the clip of him saying that. No, I don't live with women. I never lived with a woman before. You live with 2 presently. Shit. And then he was like, I work so much. I'm never here. I just don't think about it. And she was like, okay, so now she's suspicious and like, okay, what's going on? And his statement, though, nothing's going on, that's not going to work, dude, because you went out of your way to act like something was going on. And when they're moving into the shared apartment, Jasmina says she's not going to move in right away. She said, well, it's not because of you, because I got to find a new sitter for my dog. She said, I had to find, I'm going to be here I want to put my dog up in like a dog daycare somewhere that's closer, that's a new one. And Michael's like, that's why you doing this? That's why you're not moving in? She was like, yes, it has nothing to do with you or the apartment. I just need to find somewhere to put my dog while I'm not home and I'm here. Because she's not bringing her dog to the place. And he's like, okay. But then she leaves the apartment and she goes to the camera. She says, yeah, that's not why I'm leaving. She's like, I don't want to move in with him. Yes, he lied, but she lied too. They're both liars. I think his lie was far more egregious and was stupid and served no purpose. He lied for no reason. He lied for no reason and was like, well, I didn't want you to be suspicious. Well, now she's suspicious because you lied unnecessarily. Had multiple times to tell her the truth and still didn't do it. And then when she called him out on it, he was still acting like he doesn't have. She's like, I'm looking at your women roommates, but he's still acting like he doesn't have women roommates. It was a terrible lie, and her lie was smooth and she got away with it. But she was lying too. His lie was awful, just a shitty liar. Pastor Cal comes and they talk, and Jasmine is like, she has a problem with Michael. And she says he yells, he's aggressive, he's mean. And Michael was like, wait, I am not yelling at you. She was like, now, Michael, we're not going to go. She was upset. She was clearly upset. And Michael says that, yes, I may raise my tone. I may speak in an elevated way. You may find how I'm talking aggressive, but I am not yelling at you. But she was adamant, no, you are yelling at me. We both agreed you're yelling. He said, I've never agreed that I'm yelling at you. So I don't know what, because she says it all happens off camera. When they're not filming, he starts yelling and getting aggressive and angry. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I don't think Michael is yelling at her. Because if he was yelling, other people would hear it. If he was yelling, there's no way you would keep it secret or hidden. That shit goes, somebody screaming goes through walls. I do believe, because when he's on camera, he's damn near whispering when he talks. When he speaks is so low, it's so quiet, you can barely hear him. And I believe that when he does speak up or elevates his voice, she might feel like he's yelling at her, but he's not. And he could be more aggressive. He said his tone is aggressive, but he just like, hey, that's just how I talk. When I speak up, that's just how I am. He said, I'm not actually angry. He just said, I have a certain tone. He said, and she was like, yeah, it's kind of the way you say it. It's not what he's saying. Like, he's not saying ugly, mean stuff to her. She doesn't like the way he said, the way he sounds. So he's saying perfectly normal stuff, but she's like, he's saying it with an attitude or something like that. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. He says, hey, it's just a tone. He's not saying anything out of pocket. He's not saying anything weird. To her, he's yelling angrily at me. He's like, I'm just talking. He's like, I'm just speaking up. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. It's a communication problem that I don't know how they're going to fix. And my own opinion, I don't think Jasmina is attracted to him. I think he's short because she wanted someone tall because she's tall. And I think she doesn't like him. I don't think she is physically attracted to him. And I don't think she feels like he's strong because I think she is far more meaner than he is. I think she is far more aggressive and hostile than he is. And I remember her mom saying that she wants someone that's rough. She wants someone that can put her in her place and do all this other stuff. It's a bunch of bullshit. And Michael doesn't seem that way. I don't think Michael's going to sit up here and argue with her because it seems like she's fishing for confrontation and he's not giving it to her. So I don't know. I think Jasmina is looking worse. I think they're both looking bad. But I think she's coming across worse because you initially thought she was very sweet and kind, and you're saying like, no, she's really aggressive and she's really mean and she likes to poke. And it looks like she's poking, and it seems like Michael is just retreating because and he's being dumb. Michael is being an idiot. I don't understand them at all. But one thing I know is she is not attracted to him. She's just not. And I think he is getting sick of her. They're not gonna make it. They ain't. Next we have Katina and Olajuwon. I don't know what's going on with these two. They seem like the best hope right now. They go to Olajuwon's place to get stuff for the move-in. He lives in this house. He must live far out from Boston. He was the only one that owned a house and didn't have roommates. Everybody else had roommates, except for Mark and Lindsay. But did Steve have roommates? I don't think he did. Olajuwon has a house, and it looks like somebody's grandma living out. Like it's decorated very 80s, early 90s with the curtains and the wood paneling. The video, like everything looks like it was how it was decorated when he moved in. He just left it like that. Like some old lady died and her house went up for sale and he bought it. He just however it was decorated, he just left it like that. So shit. And he's telling and apparently he likes it. The only room I can see that he really fucked with was his gym, his workout room with his stuff in it. And Katina was not feeling it. She was not feeling any of the way it was decorated. Because she was like, it was decorated not him. You could tell he didn't decorate this. He just came here and it looked like this and he just left it like this. Because it was fine. Katina was not feeling. She was like, I'm gonna put I think if they stay together, she's gonna completely redo that house. Because it looks like an old house. It looks like an old person's house. It is very dated. They go back to the shared apartment, and Olajuwon is being an ass, and Katina doesn't know how to tell him you're being an ass. Because they find the pots and like pans and stuff they were in the oven, and Olajuwon is kind of playing, but he's serious. He's playing, but he's serious about he wants Katina to cook every day. He wants to wake up to a meal, come home from work, it's a meal cooked and all this other stuff. And he's like, well, I cook sometimes, I cook sometimes too. I think that's bullshit. I think he wants her to cook all the time. And Katina is like shutting it down. She was like, I'm not gonna do that. But he's like, no, you my wife, you're supposed to do that. We're gonna do it together, we're gonna do it together. I don't think that's his plan at all. He's just saying that to play it off. I think he is very fucking serious about he wants her to have a meal for him 3 times a fucking day. He wants breakfast when he gets up, to pack a lunch for him to take to work. When he comes home, it's a meal there. And Katina was like, I got a job too. Okay, shit. I work too, and I'm not finna do that. And she was like, hell, you'll probably get home before I do. So Pastor Cal comes. And it comes up like, hey, what's going on that she got to cook for you all the time? He was like, it's just how I feel, maybe a couple like, come home to a hot meal, wife sitting there. And Pastor Cal was like, what do you think this is, the 1950s? Women ain't sitting around barefoot and pregnant and cooking all the day. And he's like, yeah, I know. You saying you know, but you act like that's what you want. And modern women don't do that because they don't have to. especially if they don't want to. Like if she wants to work, because Tina was like, I have a job, I work, and I like working, and I'm not finna come do this. She's like, she told him that I will make sure you're fed. she's like, she didn't say I'm gonna cook. She said I will make sure that you do eat, that there will be food around. That's the best that's the best I can give you. It might be DoorDash, it might be somebody else cooked it, or might got a plate from somewhere, but you will eat. Even if you gotta cook the shit yourself, you will eat. So then they talk about intimacy. And Katina says, no, we haven't had any intimacy. And Pascal says, so what's the hold up? What's the, y'all married, y'all can do what married people do. What is the issue? Is there anything wrong? If you don't want to, that's fine. But is something preventing you from doing it? And to my surprise, Elijah one says he doesn't want to. He was like, I don't want to because I don't know what this is or where it's going. And I don't want to start anything. And so Katina wants to have sex. Elijah one doesn't. Because he doesn't want to start sleeping with her and it doesn't work out. He'll feel bad. And he doesn't want to make her feel it. Like it seemed like he was so concerned about the future, about how will us having sex impact our future together. And which is understandable, but it seemed like that really was hurting Katina because she was like, she felt unattractive and she felt unwanted, like he doesn't want her. That's not what he was doing. That's not what it was for him. It was more of a concern for them moving forward, which I thought was sweet. I didn't see him thinking that deep, but I also think it was weird that he didn't notice how much it bothered her. And so Pascal was like, y'all have permission to do it if you want to do it. And Katina was like, she wants to. And Elijah one seemed like he seemed like he was really not certain, not sure. He doesn't want to. I don't think he really wants to take it to that level yet. But it's up to them. Shit, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Those two are weirdly working. I don't think it's gonna work. I think that whole cooking thing, being a housewife, I think that's gonna be a big problem. They're trying to squash it now, but it keeps coming up because I think he really has in his mind what a wife is, and it's not what Katina feels a wife is. Sorry about sniffing so much, y'all. Next couple is Mark and Lindsay. This shit show here, that's adorable. It starts out with them laughing, just hanging out, doing fun together. Mark and Lindsay, I don't understand them. They go to Mark's place, so they got to get on full hazmat suits because of the bed bugs. And Lindsay is just gung ho. She's going 100%. Now this is Mark's place, and I gotta tell you this much here: Mark's apartment looked like shit. He was like, "Oh, it's much better now," but because of the bed bugs, it got ransacked. I was like, "No, I think it was looking kind of shitty beforehand. It looks bad. Like even not even just the way it was cleaned, just the layout of it. It looked like something a college kid would live at. Like it looked like not a place you would expect a grown ass man of Mark's age and stature to be living at. Like the whole place looked like, well, why the fuck do you live here? Even without the bed bugs and the shit everywhere and everything's fucked up. Uh, he wouldn't want to live there. So they're packing up stuff to take to the shared apartment. And honestly, they shouldn't take any of it. I think Lindsay said we shouldn't take any of this shit anywhere. But he has to move all of his stuff out. Anyway, but Lindsay just grabbed his stuff, and Mark is just like, he's not because it's his stuff, so he's not dealing very good. It's like, you ever watched hoarders when they're just grabbing stuff, and the people who are hoarding are like freaking out, having panic attacks because they're like, this is my stuff. You're fucking with my stuff. That's how he was. And she was like, "What does it bring you joy? Does it spark joy?" He was like, "No, it don't spark joy, but it's mine." Because she wanted to just throw everything away, which is infested with bed bugs, which is probably the best idea. If it's not that important or significant, get rid of it. If it is money a lot, clean it, disinfect it, and then keep it. But bullshit can just be thrown away. But he was like, this is my stuff. Like he had a suitcase of stuff. She was like, "What's all in here?" He's like, "Oh, this stuff from my when I was growing up, all my cards and memorabilia, stuff like that from when I was a kid." But is it important to you? He was like, "Yeah, it's my childhood. It's important to me." Lindsay was trying to get rid of all his shit. And he was really just freaking out, panicking. So I think they ended up stopping because he was just like, "She's finna drive me fucking crazy." And then they go to her apartment, her place, and they bring Mark's cats. And Mark's nervous about his cat. He doesn't know how his cats and her cats are right because her cats are like her. They're hissy, they're loud, and Mark's cats are laid back. They're old, they don't do shit. So it was like, so he was very nervous about that and stressed. Lindsay's apartment is like one room. It was just like one big ass room. Mark at least had rooms. I think Lindsay's place was bigger than Mark's, but Mark's was divided in the room. Lindsay had just one big ass open area of space. And her shit, she got shit everywhere too. She her roommates with plants. All her plants have names. Lindsay is fucking crazy. Uh, Mark was very uncomfortable because it's not his place. He's not used to it there. He's not familiar with anything. And she's just like, "Oh, come out here and do his life." But he's like uncomfortable. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to do this. So I think Lindsay was just being ridiculous. She was not being very sensitive or caring or even thoughtful about Mark. And you could see that it was pushing Mark to a point that he didn't like. And he was getting very frustrated and angry because of everything that was going on with the bed bugs, his cats. He lost his apartment. He just got married. And now he's moving in with someone that he doesn't know. So Lindsay was so cavalier and carefree about that. And Mark was not. He was really stressed and having a hard time. And it seemed like Lindsay didn't give a fuck. She wasn't thinking about him, wasn't wondering what he's going through, what he's feeling, and he didn't want to talk to her because he knew she doesn't care. Pastor Cal comes by, and what's going on? And Lindsay and Mark have had this argument where she's like, "What is it? What's going on?" And he's telling her like, "You seem like he doesn't care. I don't want to talk to you. It's just a lot. You're doing a lot of weird stuff that I'm just not into right now." And he's like, "I thought I was a lot. You are a lot." And that's his thing is that she is a lot. She is a whole lot. And she was like, "Well, you can't be that way around me." And it's just like she doesn't listen to him or anybody else. She's gonna do what she wants to do. And if you get run over, you just get run the fuck over. That's just it. She's not pausing at all. And Margaret's like, "Bring it down sometimes. You're always at 11." And he doesn't want to be at 11 with you all the time because he's going through a lot of shit. And apparently, he was talking to Pastor Cal, and he was like, it was stuff that was sexual that he wasn't cool with. Apparently, I think I'm getting this right. I might have misheard. I don't know if it was the show or the after party where basically he came in to the room and Lindsay had already gotten started on sex and was like, "Hey, you can join if you want to." And I think it made him feel some kind of way. I don't know what the fuck. But he said, he wasn't really cool with it or he wasn't really feeling it right then. I don't know what. I can't remember if that was during the show or the after party. Basically, he was trying to explain. Basically, he walked in on her masturbating, and she was like, "You want to get in on this, or you just want to stand there and watch?" And he was like, "Well, I don't want you doing that at all. I want you with me." Shit. But I think it was more than that. I think he was just having a hard day. It seemed like he's having a hard day every fucking day, and Lindsay is not making it easier. Those two, and I think that, and she feels it. Master Cal feels it, and I can see it, and Mark knows it. He is biting his tongue with Lindsay. He is really pulling back. When they were sitting, all three of them talking, it was so much shit he wanted to say to her that he just bit his tongue on. He like started crying because he was emotional. I don't think he was emotional. I think he was ready to cuss this woman the fuck out. But he held it in and didn't do it. And oh God, what did she say? I can't remember what she said. She said some foul ass shit to him. And him and Pastor Kyle was like, "What the fuck, Lindsay?" Like, because she just goes, no filter, no breaks, full throttle all the time, and that shit gets old. It gets tiresome very quickly, and I think Mark is tired of putting up with it. I feel he at any moment in one of these episodes he is gonna go off on this goddamn woman and tell her what he really feels and what he really thinks. And I don't think she's gonna handle it. Cause I think Mark the Shark is holding back. I think Mark the Shark ain't showing his teeth yet. I think he's being as nice as he possibly can to this woman that he doesn't know because she's essentially still a stranger. Yes, she's his wife, but he doesn't really know her that well. Once he gets to a level of comfort or just don't give a fuck with her no more, I think they're gonna have some hella arguments. And I think he is really getting to the point where he's just gonna stop caring. So I want to see that because I feel like you might not feel. I feel like Mark is holding back what he really feels and what he really thinks, and Lindsay is going to catch that hell one day. But hey, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see y'all next episode, man. Peace.